I do know that here at NASA, we've tried to establish collaborations with the South Carolina State Museum.
Yeah.
We recently signed a Space Act agreement with the university for the new Ron McNair Center for Aeronautics Excellence. We've got Boeing down in Charleston now, and we're a partner with Boeing in terms of aviation development and the like. So, you know, we're all doing our part to try to make sure that the state kind of grows and everything. I think the biggest thing is we have to refocus our efforts on education, particularly STEM education. You know, the state has to decide that it wants to seek academic excellence in its students, and that's hard. And I always remember telling people, I could close my eyes and I knew when I was crossing the South Carolina-North Carolina line. South Carolina always had the best roads in the country, lousy schools. North Carolina, worst roads in the country. Incredible schools, incredible public schools when I was growing up. It may be swapped now. Coming out of the university, you know what you all are trying to do.
Yeah.
And my knowledge from Thad Bell, Raymond Bino, who's an alum of the medical college, and my cousin, who's now up in Columbia, a surgeon, they are people who really want to see the state succeed. And but education is the key, and we've got to get back to the point where we really push our kids in STEM education, and we support them when they decide they're going to do that. And so you can't knock public education, you can't knock education in general. There's a place for collaboration between private schools, public schools. Here, a lot of places around the country, we use public charter schools with great success, but it takes a lot of work. I tell them, forget it right now as a student. Study really hard. I mean, really focus. Make sure they get a good, solid background in math and science. Try to go to school to become an engineer or a scientist, but that's not absolutely necessary. It's ideal if you want to guarantee that you're going to be one on the spaceship. Pick the military as an alternative. That's the way I did. Let them send you to school, send you to flight school, that kind of stuff. And then once you've got a technical undergraduate background, try to get some grad school in, and then say, okay, now I'm ready, and start writing NASA and putting your application in. If you get a chance and you're doing some research, look for an internship or a co-op opportunity with NASA. We've got 10 centers around the country. Everyone is excellent in some particular field, and a student cannot go wrong by spending a summer or a semester or a few days, you know, with NASA. You're here in the studio. We actually take co-ops in and put them in our communications department. A kid that wants to be a journalist, they can come here and they see the best journalism in the country. They see news being made every day, but also being produced and put on television, put on, you know, podcasts and newspapers and stuff like that. They can't do that on the outside now. In a lot of places, there are not a lot of outlets that put out news. We put out news. It's space news. But,
well, it's good news.
Yeah, it's great news. So I would encourage them to study really, really hard. And then the final thing I tell them is don't ever be afraid of failure. You know, don't step back like I did and say, no, they'd never pick me, because you don't know. It's like Ron McNair told me, how do you know?
How do you know?
Envision South Carolina, world-class, globally connected.